Miami Speedway. So glad you could join us for tonight's finale. Yes, finale here after a series of events here. We've all gotten to go to one track and one spot only, and that is Homestead Miami Speedway, where tonight we will be crowning a champion. I am joined in the booth here by my good friend and colleague there, Sam Dyer. Sam, we are experiencing some technical difficulties at the moment, so we are hoping that that will not play a factor into how we broadcast this race. But one thing is for certain, we are going to be following 4 drivers the best that we can. Those drivers will be Tate Lytle, Nick Massey, Chris Wright, and Alexander Van Desant. Those are the drivers, all with a shot to win their first ever championship here for the Elite Racing Network. And it's going to be hard to pick a winner out of all these 4. Who would you say might have the best shot here tonight at ending their chance in victory lane?
Yeah, I mean, looking at all of those 4, you've got I'm looking at probably Chris Wright or Nick Massey. Both those drivers have been very good at the mile-and-a-half courses. Both have found themselves the victory lane there. But Tate Lytle as well, 3 victories under the title of the 56. I think I'm gonna have to throw my hat to Nick Massey. I think the 48 machine has a really good shot, but we were noting on it, Alex, a lot of drivers here tonight putting themselves in a spot to try to get a victory. And with our technical difficulties, we might have to take a moment to step aside to try to get this figured out. But we just wanted to make sure we were live. You know that the racing will be coming back in a moment, but we might have to step aside here, there, Alex, to make sure we can get the racing action ready for everyone here.
That is correct here. As you can see, we're just not able to get the cars shown to you on the track right now. So we will be right back. If the race does start, we will leave as far as what is happening. And if anything major does happen here tonight, we of course will bring that to you live on YouTube. But for right now, we're going to take a quick break, and hopefully we can try and remedy these situation that we're having, these technical difficulties. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
He's awesome. Yeah, Discord has been finicky.
It did take me like forever to get into Discord here. Welcome back to Virtual Homestead Speedway. You're taking a look at the first yellow flag of the day, and it does involve a championship contender. We saw Tate Lytle take a little bit of evasive action to avoid that. I believe Vincent Isabella was also able to make sure that he was not involved there. But our first yellow flag of the night. Want to apologize again for the technical difficulties that we are experiencing. As you can see, the view not pretty as far as our broadcast here. We're having some severe blimping issues. We are trying to get that remedied. However, as we take a look at our first pit stop of the day, everybody looks to be on in. Chris Wright is your championship leader, currently in the first position. We'll see what happens here, and we'll be back with restart here just momentarily. Let me know. You saw it there live. One of our championship contenders, Chris Wright, with a major issue down the backstretch. He hits the inside wall. We stay under the green flag. But Wright in that 20 Walmart car has taken a significant hit and has fallen all the way back to 28th place. Don't know what exactly happened there off the backstretch there. We saw Chad and him get into it, but our championship contender in trouble early with this one. That was Chris Wright in the 20 car with an issue. We are still trying our best to give you guys what we can. I don't know exactly what you're seeing as far as the content on your screen, but me and Sam are going to do our best to try and describe the action to you. Up front, the highest running championship contender right now is Tate Lytle. He's in the 6th position there. If you're just now joining us, we already had a yellow flag as well. Alexander Van de Sant was also involved. So early, we've already seen 2 drivers inside our championship contender grid with an issue. The latest being Chris Wright, last week's winner. Nick Massey also in the 48 car, way off the pace. He's sitting currently in the 29th position there. Don't know if he had any damage or help in that skirmish that involved the 20 Chris Wright as well a couple of laps ago. But Tate Lytle so far seems to have the field or his championship rivals covered as he continues to be inside the top 10. The rest of the field is out of it. I want to bring in my other colleague there, Sam. Sam is going to be a hard one to call just because everything is kind of all over the place here. But early, we've seen some accidents happen inside that top 10.
Yeah, with the accident that happened that we were not able to show on screen, we are sorry for not being able to cover it, but we'll do kind of a radio style on top of what you're seeing on screen once it finally clears up. Tate Lytle did make contact with Chad Frankenfield, and then, like we noted on, Chris Wright also involved. The only driver that has not had an issue so far is Alexander Van de Sant, but currently Alexander Van de Sant back in 17th as Tate Lytle falls down the running order, currently in 12th, and boxed in by that of Joshua Clark, and that of Rucker, and also Brent Jones. So the 56, Tate Lytle was the highest runner, as well as Chris Wright. Both drivers falling down the grid. Tate Lytle in 14th. Alexander Van de Sant going to be moving up to 15th currently, about to make the pass over that of Tate Lytle and become the highest runner of our Championship 4.
And I don't think that's something that any of us kind of expected, this battle for the championship to be well outside of the top 10. You have to wonder if the 56 car Tate Lytle, maybe he suffered some damage in that skirmish that sent Chris Wright all the way to the back of the pack as well. It happened near the front of the pack. And now, as you had mentioned there, Alexander Van de Sant, he had already been in on newer tires, but Tate Lytle very much falling back in the running order. And we are going to have a new championship contender here in just a moment. Yes, the 97 of Van de Sant able to pass on the high side. That will change the lead. And keep in mind, it's whoever finishes ahead of who to decide the championship here tonight.
Yeah, and the other drivers of note to watch out for, Nick Massey and Chris Wright, both back from Matt Massey's back in 29th position, Wright back to 33rd. Chris Wright, last driver running currently on the lead lap, and soon might be forced into pit road with the heavy damage that the 20 has. Nick Massey back to up to 28th now, but for Tate Lytle, who was involved, does have some heavy right side damage for the 56, currently in 15th. But losing ground as Alexander Van de Sant, who's been patient, won back Friday for the IndyCar Series Championship, and currently trying to get his cup for that of the JoinAPS.com Cup Series Championship.
So currently action all over the place here.
This whole entire week of the championship races, it's been all about trying to stay consistent and out of trouble, and it seems like the driver that doesn't get themselves in trouble has been the one that's been able to stay clean and green, as currently that of Alexander Van de Sant up to 13th, leader of our championship 4. Leading the race currently is Matthew Weeks and Joshua Adams. They're first and second, as we are now on lap 27 of 134.
Currently, you're taking a look at that battle unfold up front. Joshua Adams and Matthew Weeks, both these drivers still in search of their first win of the season. It could happen here tonight. Joshua Adams there with a mirror full of Scott Crump, who has to be wondering what might have been after last week's fiasco just 500 feet from the start-finish line there. Unfortunately, him and Jared Rexing finding contact and each other before Alexander Van der Sant was able to pass them both after finding themselves upside down, shy of the start-finish line. This battle, though, for the lead is still heating up. You see Matthew Weeks continuing to put on the outside of Joshua Adams there. And Adams actually was able to take the lead away out of that corner. Looks like the 11 car, he'll slice back to the inside here. New for this package and with these cars here at Virtual Homestead, these guys are still very much feeling out what these next-gen cars can do. Are we kind of still learning, these drivers up front, what these cars can do at this racetrack here tonight here, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those racetracks. We've seen progressive banking racetracks before, but tonight going to be a lot about tire wear, saving tires, and for the long run. If we can get into this long green flag run like we're seeing right now, these drivers learning a lot on how they want to be pressuring forward. And I think for some, since the next-gen cars come out, they've learned the draft is so key, especially on the straightaways, to make sure you're attached or having someone assist you on the straightaways. And when you're up front, when you're the lead driver, you are in complete control. The dirty air behind these cars is so powerful. If you just put your rear bumper in front of the front bumper of the driver that's trying to make a pass, they won't be able to unless they can get a great run and run over the driver in front. So they are going to be on top of one another throughout the night, as currently all the drivers in line. We're seeing a lot of drivers currently running well. Again, of note, Alexander Van der Sant leading our championship for drivers back in 12th position. Next closest is Tate Lytle in 16th. Then you have to drop all the way down to 24th where Nick Massey is. And as note, we've already noted on multiple times, Chris Wright, heavy damage from earlier, same contact that Tate Lytle had. Chris Wright back to 33rd spot and really looking like his championship hopes are snuffed out.
He needs a caution flag in the worst way in order to get caught back up, already 13 seconds behind this pack here. As you see Alexander Van der Sant here, somewhere swarming in the middle of this grid. There he is in that outside lane, kind of running what I call the Tyler Reddick line, as we see a bobble to 64, Andrew Rucker with a bobble on the inside. That is just so close. I mean, right now, Alexander Van der Sant in the 10th position. He's having a good run. And we should note that he was on pit road during that first yellow flag as well. But when you're racing for a championship, any bobble from a competitor in front of you or behind you has got to be taking your breath just a little bit.
Oh, absolutely, especially for the drivers that are trying to get a good run here tonight. That incident with Chris Wright, Tate Lytle, it was with Chad Frankenfield and others that were battling for the lead at that moment. So it is one of those contacts where you're hoping that the race contenders that you're around, they understand they're going to respect the championship forward, but a little bit racing over their heads early in the goings here tonight. Already in the first, we're on lap 33, about to be starting lap 34. A lot of racing. We're soon to be coming up to 100 laps to go in tonight's race. And
the lead. In fact, the 11 car Matthew Weeks, he is in the middle of an Adams sandwich right there. His brother Jacob Adams also in search of his first win right there. And there's Scott Crump in that 90 car. A little bit of a gap between 4th and 5th place there. Dallas Myhan in the 41. David Tooker as well, having a great showing. Then Jeff Green, Harrison Talon running strong in the top 10. And then Alexander Van der Sant battling to keep inside the top 10. And that is a battle between Trey Holmes and Jared Rexing.
And we've seen drivers already, caught up in the first incident here that are out of this race. Just right now, Josh Robin having internet issues for the 8. He was gone for over half a lap, and the 8 machine now back out on track, and that is right around Alexander Van der Sant. You do not want to be seeing drivers blinking around you, and Alexander Van der Sant back in 14th place is surrounded by a lot of competitors here currently through 1 and 2 on the inside, but on the outside surrounding the 97, going to be that of Jared Rexine, Drucker, Tyler Fody, a lot of drivers that have been known throughout this season and all the different series to be very aggressive. The 97, he's got to be concerned right now with the competitors around him.
And I guess it just goes to note there, this is a championship race I don't believe we expected out of these 4 drivers. They have been so consistent as far as being the top performers of the season. Right now, they're the fact that we're talking about our top seeded driver in the 13th position there, it's kind of taken us a little bit by surprise there. Tate Lytle, as we had mentioned already, with that heavy right side damage, he needs the yellow flag and or just to go down pit road, depending on when that is. Nick Massey up to the 20th position there. So he's gained some ground, but not very much. And then we've already documented Chris Wright and his woes. He is now 17 seconds behind, hoping not to go a lap down. But let's actually jump on board with Chris Wright in that 20 car. He's by himself. We can take a look at some of that damage there to see the left side where he found the inside wall on the exit of turn 2. And it just happens just that quickly. This was last week's winner, able to win himself and having shot here tonight. But now there's just heavy damage on that car. And that's not going to be easily fixed as well there, Sam. You're going to have to add time to the pit stop to fix that damage.
Yeah, a lot of damage on the left side for the 20 machine, as well as front end damage as a whole. And with these next gen cars, the front end getting damaged there is basically a death sentence for most drivers. You're not going to be able to have a great run. So the 20 just going to be limping around. And with the damage that has been given to Chris Wright and not being a part of the draft, running a full second slower than our leaders currently. So Chris Wright has to be finding some help with the cautions being waived, but he's going to need a lot of help for that. As a caution wave does fly, issues going to be happening. That is going to be Jordan Owens, going to be the car spinning around for the 34.
So our second yellow flag of the night is out. Looks like contact between him and the 29. Yes, entering the corner. He just goes around. 30. To fight back and catch the guys that he's trying to run for a championship with.
Yeah, the 29 machine, Colin Bowden, newly added in as one of the 20 drivers from the Contender Series last night that was able to advance and will be racing for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series. Congratulations, Colin Bowden, on that. But that you're not expecting to see a driver of Colin Bowden's caliber come in and make contact like he did, but we'll see moving forward if Colin can make a rebound for himself, as all the drivers come into pit road. For our championship drivers, they're all coming in as well. Pit road very busy on this yellow flag, as the drivers do have 6 sets of tires to work with. So I'm not surprised by drivers coming in and trying to utilize these sets early on.
Yeah, right now, Alexander Van de Sant, the highest of our championship 4 grid, he is on pit road there. Looks like he had no issue getting off and on. You can see the 20 car. He's just now getting service there. They're 3 wide exiting. Tate Lytle also going to have to spend some time to try and fix the damage he had on the right side of that car as well. Nick Massey able to exit there in the 17th position, working his way up through the grid. But you can see 2 of our championship contenders right there in the same camera shot. The 56 of Tate Lytle and Chris Wright. Both multiple wins this season there. Both damaging their shot of a championship here early. And we'll see what happens in less than 100 to go. This is I wouldn't call it a short race because it's a 50% race, but with less than 100 laps to go, I mean, time is running out for these guys.
Oh, absolutely. The 95 of that Joshua Adams going to be top of the board with Scott Crump. Weeks, also that of Jacob Adams and Tooker going to be your top 5. Alexander Van de Sant leading our championship 4. And Nick Massey going to be up to 16th. He's going to be the closest runner to Van de Sant. We're going to step aside, rest our voice for a quick second. We'll be back right before we go green.
Welcome back to virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. So glad you could join us here tonight for the season finale for the JoinAPS Cup Series here with the Elite Racing Network. Technical difficulties tonight there. Unfortunately, what you're seeing on your screen is not going to be very nice at all. So we're going to be calling this race radio style for you. And by we, I mean my good friend and colleague Sam Dyer. He is also in the booth here tonight. Want to give a shout out to David Huckleberry, who's also been with us trying to remedy these technical difficulties here. But no matter what, we are going to be giving you guys the best of our broadcast, and we're going to be crowning a champion here very soon. So radio style is going to be the name of the game. They are in turns 4. About to go back to green. Our third restart underway. It is Jacob Adams and Scott Crump on the front row. Joshua Adams, on the loud pedal, and we're back to green side by side behind him heading into turn 1.
It's going to be our front three, going to be that of Joshua Adams, Scott Crump, Jacob Adams, as there's going to be side by side from third, that of second on back. And right now, looking at our championship picture, 7th place, that of Alexander Van Sant, but up front, it is all that of Joshua Adams.
And right now, real quick on that championship picture there, Tate Lytle fixing that damage is scored 1 lap down. So Chris Wright on that 20 car is scored 1 lap down, and so he will need a yellow flag in order to get caught back up into the mix. Up front, though, Alexander Van Sant is in the 7th position. He's your championship grid leader right now, but right behind him are Nick Massey in the 16th, and then Tate Lytle still in the 32nd position, desperately trying to catch back up.
Yeah, the heavy damage of that of Tate Lytle and Chris Wright. Most likely their nights are going to be done for a championship hope. Looking at Tate Lytle's lap times, though, very close to our leaders, but he's so far back with that damage. It's going to be very hard to be making passes. Nick Massey, a huge surprise back in 15th, making the run forward. For Nick Massey, he started further back than everyone else and had troubles under the first yellow that we had back on lap 5. So we're going to be seeing if Nick Massey can start to challenge Alexander Van Sant, who is up to 7th. As currently our leader still Joshua Adams, Scott Crump, and that of Jacob Adams, your top 3.
Side by side for 4th place there is the front 3 trying to get away. That's Dallas Myhan on the outside of the 11 of Matthew Weeks, who pokes it in there, trying to fill that spot. Here they come off of turn number 4. The 25 car will look to the outside of Scott Crump, and Matthew Weeks, he'll slice to the inside. He's trying to go for 2 for 1. He's 3 wide on the bottom of the racetrack as they enter turn number 1. Matthew Weeks trying to get second away from the 90 of Scott Crump and the 25 of Jacob Adams.
Could be, and they still are 3 wide on the back stretch, and more drivers further back having issues, but great bump drafting as David Tooker is going to give a bump to the 11 of Matthew Weeks, who's on the inside, but it's Jacob Adams holding strong, getting assistance from that of Scott Crump. Alex, we're watching these drivers. It's pack racing here up front in the top 10, and right now looking like super speedway racing at a 1.5 mile course.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect us to be talking about 2 and 3 wide here with our voice going up an octave, but that's exactly what's happening. And guess who's also in the thick of things? That's Alexander Van Sant, who actually just scraped the wall out of turn 2. That is how high he is running there, folks. Has been taking what I call the Tyler Reddick line, but it hasn't hurt the performance of that race car. This time he'll enter there a little bit gingerly on the bottom of the racetrack. He's to the inside of Scott Crump there in that 90 car. He's trying to crack the top 5 for the first time here tonight.
Alexander Van Sant currently on the inside, trying to make the pass on Scott Crump, who's in 5th place. They're going to be 2 wide for 5th position, and then behind Alexander Van Sant, they were 3 wide for a moment, as Jeff Green going to be slotted into 7th place. Starting to see our front 4, that of Joshua Adams, Jacob Adams, Matthew Weeks, Dallas Myhan. Single file until you get back to that 5th place position where they're still side by side.
Yeah, 2-car breakaway, the Adams brothers. Jeff Green and Jared Rexing, those 2 have had contact there multiple times this season. We'll see what happens as they exit turn number 2. Everything seems to be okay so far. Alexander Van Sant, though, needs an assistance from the 19 of David Tooker to try and clear the 38 car. He doesn't get it done this time, but we'll see what happens on the exit of turn 4.
We've had ourselves already 2 cautions tonight. Jeff Green having some rear end damage for the 38, but because he's in the draft, that damage is not hurting him too much currently. As now going to be moving up to 6th place, is back 7th is Alexander Van Sant, and our other playoff driver that is trying to go for a championship here tonight, that of Nick Massey. back in 14th, so 7 positions is the difference between our top 2 Championship 4 drivers.
And I would argue to say there of our top 4, Alexander Van der Sand, he's been consistent, but perhaps not really strong this season. Haven't had the wins that we've seen with the other drivers. Haven't had that dominant performance. We saw him really good on the road courses there, but he has been consistent. Could tonight's consistency be the key to a championship? That could play out, because right now he's consistent when all of our other drivers who needed to be consistent like they have been are not.
I mean, I had the joy of covering Alexander Van der Sand's run for Friday night's IndyCar Series Championship, and the 97 won it on a fuel mileage call and was very aggressive. But here tonight, it's going to be very similar. In that IndyCar Championship race, he kept his nose out of trouble, backed out when he felt like the racing around him was too hectic, and currently doing a very similar thing, being in this lead pack and just lingering behind, letting everyone else make the dangerous moves as the 97. As I say that, though, forcing the issue, going 3 wide, trying to make the pass, possibly crack into the top 5 again.
Yeah, about a 7-car breakaway as the field is really starting to try and migrate to the top of the racetrack right there. Side-by-side battle, though, brewing for second place. Matthew Weeks not content to stay in line. He has a look underneath Jacob Adams in that 25 car. But the problem is, all the help went to that outside line. Now he finds himself on the bottom of the racetrack with no assistance. Here comes the 41 of Dallas Myhan, the 90 of Scott Crump, and Jeff Green trying to take that advantage. The 11 car is going to lose 3 spots, perhaps, when it's all said and done. But now, Jeff Green ducks in behind him. They're side-by-side for 4th once again.
Yeah, 4th place in battle for 3rd. They are still side by side for all these positions, and it's getting hectic right now. Jeff Green, a driver that we've seen be willing to get aggressive at these races when he sees an opportunity, but the battling for 3rd, Weeks and Myhan still side by side, and Myhan is already, he's the driver on the outside for 3rd currently. He's gotten to the outside wall on the exit of these corners, and as the run goes on, the tighter these cars are going to get, and the closer we're going to see the 41 brushing the wall time after time, and that could get dangerous, especially with Alexander Van der Sand just 2 cars behind that of the 41.
See Joshua Adams and Jacob Adams there still trying to decide who really wants to lead this thing. It's been the 95 car up front, but Jacob Adams really hasn't been content to ride along just behind him. He's been searching there. I've seen him look high. I've seen him look low. But these guys have about a 3-4 car length gap in front of 3rd place there, but behind 4th is a madhouse. I'm telling you, there's Jeff Green, Alexander Van der Sand, Dallas Myhan, Jared Rexing. I mean, I would call that the eye of the center of the storm there, and our championship driver is in the midst of it.
Yeah, I mean, looking at some of the drivers that are here, you think of Jared Rexing Sunday night, tried to win for a Trucks Championship, fell shy as Bronson Stafford won that night. And for that for Rexing, he's been getting a lot more comfortable and confident with these next-gen cars and has been willing to get aggressive at moments side by side with Alexander Van der Sand for 7th place as they go ahead into turn number 1. Gotta say, for Alexander Van der Sand, running the high line, and I think this is the way more preferred place to be currently here, Alex, as it feels like that inside row, a lot more drivers starting to head there through the entries of the corners, and when it's getting a lot chaotic, go to the place where you are if you're a championship driver so you can get yourself out of trouble if you see any chaos.
He's really, really working that high lane, but the problem is that I've seen is a lot of the draft and a lot of the cars that he's trying to work and compete against are working that inside line, and they're actually making headway, and he's putting himself further and further down on the running position. In fact, we actually see creeping up into the picture Nick Massey in the 48 car. In fact, this battle between the championship contenders is about to come to head as Nick Massey is now on the back bumper of the 97 of Alexander Van der Sand. One going high, the other going low. Massey to the bottom of the racetrack. Alexander Van der Sand up high, he'll have the position, but is blocked by the 10 car. Who gets loose? He's dead to Alexander Van der Sand out. Alexander Van der Sand with multiple damage on that race car there. Yellow flag is out in a championship contender in trouble.
And just in a blink of an eye, it went from Chris Wright, Tate Lytle feeling like their races were done, championship hopes gone, and then we thought it was all Alexander Van der Sand in the 97, now heavily damaged on both the right and the left side. But how much nose damage and engine damage was given to the 97? And I mean, there's a lot of damage to be here for Alexander Van der Sand, currently in 15th position. And now the question is, who of our Championship 4 will survive the night? We're on lap 60 now. We're soon to halfway, and we've already seen 3 of our 4 championship drivers with heavy damage.
Yeah, Jared Rexing just got loose there, and unfortunately, the next car in line in that high lane was the 97 car of Alexander Van de Sant. Trying to see if we can get a replay here momentarily. We'll take a look, but yes, there is significant right side and left side damage to the 97 car, and just as we were talking about describing that battle, Nick Basti in the 48 car had worked his way up in position, and it was just a tale of two lanes. He had worked his way down low to the bottom of the racetrack there that kept him out of the path of a spinning 10 car who actually just he I'm taking a look at the replay right now. It looked like the 41 of Dallas Myhand actually had an issue in front of the 10 car who tried to keep it out of the wall. He gets into the side of the 41 and then he got loose, and unfortunately the 97 car couldn't check up in time, and that is what sent that 10 car around. But there is some significant damage on the side, both right and left side of Alexander Van de Sant, as everybody's on pit road for just our third caution flag of the night.
And Alex, I noted on it, was noting on the fact that Dallas Myhand was getting extremely tight through the corner, was running a lot higher up to the outside wall, got into the outside wall, and that's what was caused the chain reaction. Rexing did the best that he could to avoid. And when you're riding behind another driver, you really can't see what's in front of you unless you have a spotter watching your real numbers at all times. And in a blink of an eye, we just saw that of Alexander Van de Sant heavily damaged. Now we'll see how well he can come back. But for Chris Wright, a driver that was a lap down, this is great. Chris Wright going to get back on the lead lap. The 20 still in this race, but still has a lot of damage to try to get back into this thing.
So, good news for Tate Lytle and the 20 of Chris Wright. Bad news for the 97 car, who now finds himself at the tail end of this pack. He is still sitting on pit road right now currently, as well as the 10 car of Jared Rexing. The 48 car of Nick Massey all the way up to the 6th position there. So not much damage, if any, on that 48 car that I'm seeing currently on my screen. But the 97 car of Alexander Van de Sant, he's going to have to need to get going in a hurry as the pace car is on the front straightaway. And Alexander Van de Sant, he is now being able to drive away there, so he won't go a lap down. But the question now remains, was he able to fix the damage on that race car? Will it be able to work its way through? I'm still looking, and on my screen, there is still quite a bit of hood damage there. The right side quarter panel, the left side quarter panel, and the right front also involved with some damage, as we see Chris Wright also make his way onto pit road. It has just been eventful here tonight, Sam. I can't keep up. My pen is almost out of ink, and we're not even halfway.
Yeah, we're not even halfway, but we are under yellow, so we're going to try again. We're going to take a step aside for a quick moment. When we come back, we're hoping to maybe try to test out some new things graphic-wise, and hopefully the end of the show is going to be a good one for y'all to watch.
Welcome back there. It has been a family affair up front. Joshua Adams and Jacob Adams, your leader as we are just getting back under green flag here with less than 3 laps to go till we get to the halfway point. Joshua Adams there swings to the inside. He'll bring along Jacob Adams in that 25 right behind him. Matthew Weeks, these guys have been the class of the field so far. A driver that we have not talked much about, though, inside the top 5, breaking that for today, is Nick Massey. Oh, trouble! One car spinning there to the inside of the racetrack and a hard hit. It's going to be a couple of cars. It's the 83 and the 8. Josh Robin involved in the yellow flag is back out once again. Contact out of the corner there, placing us under caution for the second time today. We'll get a look at a replay here and see what happened. Didn't take long there, Sam.
No, it really didn't. It looked like there was contact going 3 wide and a flipping. That of Trey Holmes going to be one of the drivers involved, as well as Josh Robin. And that's just aggressive racing coming out of turn number, that of turn 4. And the other driver, that of Corey Abbott, going to be the other driver that was involved going 3 wide. As was coming out of turn number 2, Abbott goes to the high line. Josh Robin goes to the middle, and goes to the inside. Middle going to be that of Holmes, and all the drivers really nowhere to go for themselves. And the 8 and the 83 going to be bringing out our 4th caution of the night.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looked like the 83 might have just been a victim right there. I thought I saw the 8 car just kind of go up, and just that little bit was able to touch him, and then the 83 went sailing to the inside, and that was a dramatic hit. Car going upside down. Oh, that is saying something. I thought the yellow flag came out. Those cars, what do you call it? Those cars had such severe damage it came to a stop, but you're right. We are still under the green flag. My mistake, and unfortunately, we are just some of the technical difficulties we are experiencing there. We were unable to see that, but yep, we're still under green. So the 95 and the 11 still battling hard there. Nick Massey, he was inside the top 5, has just lost 1 spot there to David Tooker, but he is the highest of our Championship 4 drivers currently right now. Where are the others? Alexander Vandesvant still in the 31st position. Chris Wright, 29th. Tate Lytle has been able to work his way up to 13th, so not all is over for that 56 car, but he still has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, and right now, Tate Lytle going to be at the tail end of this front pack and still has that right side damage and a little bit of left side that he's going to have to deal with. As up front, still a lot of racing action from that of the Adams brothers, with Fody and Weeks getting aggressive up front right now. Nick Massey, who's currently in 7th, he's got to be careful because our front runners are getting so aggressive currently. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them just slips up, makes contact, and we see another wreck happen here.
And yeah, and unfortunately, the wrecks that have happened have been taking out some championship contenders. All 3 accidents that we have had, with the exception of that one that we just currently had that did not bring out a yellow flag, have involved a championship contender. Not something I would expect here tonight, as we are just past halfway here. 70 going to go on the board here. You can see Tyler Fody and the 25 of Jacob Adams. They've been able to switch that second spot, and Tyler Fody in that 40 car has been able to make headway and is now bearing down on our race leader. They are about to find some lap traffic, though. The question is, when and how do they pass them? The 95 car to the inside, and the 40 and the 25 as well, as they work away around the lap traffic of that 8.
8 of Josh Robin going to just stay on the high line, and now we're going to be seeing a little bit of a tow, trying to get assistance is Tyler Fody, and Fody now going to be ducking into the high side, and with the lap traffic, this is going to get dangerous for those that are side by side. Nick Massey, he's going to be worrisome, as Robin's now going to be stuck in the middle of this group on the high line. Lap car underpowered. That high line is going to be dangerous here, Alex, as they head into turn number 3.
And half a lap there beforehand, Nick Massey had a big wobble entering turn 1, was able to hang on. I don't understand how he was able to save that race car, as Chad Frankenfield almost getting a nip there right in the middle of the corner there. He gathers it up, but Nick Massey is in the middle of this package, and it has fragile written all over it here, folks. My goodness. I don't know if there's anywhere you want to be inside this pack.
No, and what's even more terrifying is Tate Lytle was in the mixture of that almost another wreck that happened, as the 56 following Massey. And also, I think everyone's recognizing we got to get below the 8 machine that is a lap down and finally has fallen out of this large group. But man, Alex, it is still very hectic up front as Joshua Adams, Tyler Fode, they're blocking. A lot of blocking's been going on. Joshua Adams wants this race won badly. He blocked his brother a lot, now going to be blocking others. And moving up, Nick Massey's up to 6th, falling out of the top 5. But Tate Lytle still in 13th.
Side-by-side battle there for position. And that is going to be the 48 car taking it away from the 35 of Vincent Isabella there. He's on the inside in turn number 4. One car going way up high there. Able to gather it back up. I believe that was Joshua Clark in that 28 car there. Actually, just before him, Ryan Gavel in that 33 car. But they are able to work it amongst themselves. The 35 now battling Nick Massey in that 48 car. Massey... Oh, big crash in the backstretch. Chad Frankenfield and another competitor that's going to be Dallas Myhand also involved. Chad with the worst of it.
And Chad Frankenfield, this is the second time he's been in a caution up in the lead pack. And we'll take a look at what exactly happened to these drivers on the backstretch as they were on top of one another. And coming out of turn number 2, it's been the tricky spot for a lot of these machines. They were 3 wide out of the corner. And
not enough room. Yeah. Chad Frankenfield, they were 3 wide. Don't know if Chad knew that there. Pitches Joshua Clark in the 41 of Dallas Mayan, actually just an innocent victim, and 3 of those cars touch, and they all go sliding in a big pile on the backstretch there. Thankfully, did not involve our championship contenders, but Chad Frankenfield just comes up, blocks the 28 and the 41 car who's already there. Both those cars with some damage, but Chad getting the worst end of that one.
Tate Lytle just was watching this action in front of him. It's somehow able to sneak away as the 56. He was just riding behind these drivers that were 3 wide, and he got a good picture of what was going to happen. Had plenty of time while he was inside, drop low, get out of the motion and away from that damage that happened as drivers now under this caution all into pit road.
Yes, and I believe this caution very much a big break for Alexander Van de Sant. Still had a lot of damage there to try and fix. We'll see what happens here on this. Maybe a little bit more time to fix that ailing race car there. But Nick Massey and Tate Lytle doing a great job so far. Tate getting the good hands award in this race right there because that was right in front of him. Thankfully, he was able to move on. A lot of 2-tire stops I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, a lot of drivers just coming in, getting their stops done. 4 tires for most. A couple of drivers, though, deciding to stay out. That being, I believe, Jacob Adams deciding to stay out. Joshua Clark, he will be in pit road. Scott Crump also deciding to stay out. And the 9 of Rusty Cable going to be all staying out for themselves as Harrison Talon came into pit road, missed his pit box, and just drove on through. So we might be seeing the 23 and others as our top 5 where the drivers have decided to stay out. We'll see when they come back into pit road as Tyler Fode might be their first driver to come out of pit road. A great pit stop for himself, beating out Joshua Adams.
You can actually see on our screen, it looks like the 23 Harrison Talon. He will now go on pit road as well as the 28 I believe of Joshua Clark is going to be in. That's going to hand the lead back to the 25 of Jacob Adams and Scott Crump. Scott Crump, who used that to his advantage at the end of last week's race in Charlotte, unfortunately was unable to make the most out of it, but had a shot coming to the checkered flag. He saw it there. He just didn't get there first in time.
Yeah, just was not able to get there in time. And, you know, it's been a great time watching all this. And I got to say, what a week it's been, Alex. Championship week here for the Elite Racing Network for all the Elite Racing League competitors. IndyCar starting on Friday. Sunday was that of the trucks. And then we had Monday night being the Xfinity, and here Wednesday, finishing out the week with the Cup drivers for that of the JoinAPS.com Cup Series. What a season it's been. It's been a great one, but it's crazy to think our championship 4, 3 of the 4 rookie drivers. Then you got Tate Lytle, who's been the veteran, but all 4 drivers looking for their first championship in the Cup Series. All the storylines that I keep on throwing out. It is a great night of coverage. We're excited to be giving it to all of you as we are past halfway. And Alex, got to say, a lot of surprising things. Wasn't expecting to see, 3 of our 4 competitors with heavy damage, but you never know what you're going to get on championship night.
No, and especially with the package and the type of racing that we're seeing here. I mean, a lot of pack racing and a lot of your destiny really not in your control here. I believe that's really what's happened to a lot of the competitors that were following for a championship here. You can look back at Chris Wright there, wrong place, wrong time. He was running inside the top 5 when that issue happened with Chad Frankenfield and Tate Lytle, another one of those Championship 4 drivers. And then you have to look at Alexander Van der Sant in that 97 car. He also looked like he was having a great day. Unfortunately, it was action ahead of him in a lane that he had been trying to use to make sure he would avoid any action. Gets clogged up and now still battling hard to try and rebound from that in the 31st position. Best of those drivers right now currently, though, is going to be Nick Massey. Nick Massey is falling to 16th place on this restart. It's going to be Tate Lytle in the 8th position there. Massey losing a number of spots there on pit road, so might have had an issue there that severely dropped him outside of the top 10. We'll see what happens as we are just about to get back underway here. Pace car is going to be in the 25 and the 90 on older tires. Joshua Adams in the 40 on newer tires. The green flag is back out. Adams leads them down to the turn number 1. They're side by side. Who will have the advantage as they exit turn 2?
Oh, Jacob Adams going to be on the outside now, going to duck low, going to give Joshua Adams the best run coming out of turn number 2, fresher tires. The difference of tires going to be 15 laps, and drivers already in the back scuffling with one another. Got to be careful for those back there, but immediately Joshua Adams back to the point. But now with the drivers on older tires, how well will they hold on? And we'll be seeing them falling back as it is going to get dangerous for Jacob Adams and Scott Crump.
It looked like the 25 car just has a parachute on the back of that car. He is backing up there severely, has lost 4 spots already, and is in danger of losing more. Here comes the 56 of Tate Lytle storming by on his outside there. Everybody trying to pick through these cars that are on older tires there. Will it work out for him? Tate Lytle in the mix, trying to get around him in that 56 car. He does so entering turn 3.
Tate Lytle, highest of our Championship 4 contenders. He might have been thinking that the day was over. But no. It's going to be Dustin Gore.
Excuse me, didn't mean to cut you off there. I just thought he was in the wall and had unfortunately taken out more competitors. Thankfully, looks like it's going to be a single car issue there. None of our Championship 4 cars going to be involved in that one there, but Dustin Gore losing a lot of spots there in the middle of the screen. Everybody else coming out unscathed there except him.
Yeah, it's going to be falling back, and luckily everyone's not running completely on the outside wall like they'll be doing here in the next 15 to 20 laps when they've got wear and tear on their tires. So plenty of space for everyone to evade, but certainly a scary situation where you thought there could have been a lot more of an incident going on. As looking at where the drivers are currently moving and driving away is that of Joshua Adams and David Tooker, both trying to just pull away from the rest of the pack. In 3rd place, that of Matthew Weeks, then also that of Tyler Fody, and Tate Lytle going to be in 5th position. Tate Lytle thought his race was going to be done after his contact with that of Chris Wright and Chad Frankenfield, but back in the mix after getting all the repairs, all the cautions, giving time for the 56 machine, and now repaired just enough to be battling up front. Maybe not a winning car, but a championship winning car it could be.
And what a day it would be in typical Tate Lytle fashion for this 56 car there. Had an issue, didn't panic, had the cautions fall his way, and this is why he is perhaps the best seated here of winning. And I don't want to draw anything against the other Championship 4 contenders, but that 56 car, when he entered here, he had a running pattern of having a couple of horrible races there, sandwiched by wins. He won the first of the round of 14. He won the first of round of 9, and now we're in that pattern where he could win his first championship. So that 56 car doing everything he can right now correctly in order to get that done.
Tate Lytle is ahead of Nick Massey. Nick Massey has come back after a lot of struggles early on with pit trouble. He has fallen to the back multiple times, that of Nick Massey, and he's going to do his best to continue to move forward. But this 48 team, they started back, was one of our drivers that had a great run, but now Nick Massey in the 48, he's had pit issues. He slid through his pit box. That's why he fell from being up around the top 5 to back in 8th place on this past restart. And currently running up in 11th, but just a few cars ahead of him is where Tate Lytle lies.
And we talked about how mistakes here, especially those on pit road, can derail your shot of not only a win, but a championship here. And could that be playing out for that 48 car of Nick Massey, who's desperately trying to catch back up to the back bumper of Tate Lytle in that 56 car. We'll see what happens right now, but he is in some serious traffic right there just behind Andrew Rucker in that 64 car in a 3-wide situation in front of that 48 car. That's definitely something I don't believe he wants to see happening in front of him.
Absolutely not, especially when you're just about a half a car length away from the drivers that are 3 wide. Gerald Campbell thinking about forcing the issue underneath that of Jeff Green and also Andrew Rucker. Thinks better of it, didn't take out Jeff Green, but you could tell that some of the drivers that are just racing for a win here tonight, getting aggressive, willing to make some big moves, but at the same time, we've seen drivers try to force it 3 wide and bring out some very big wrecks. Got to be careful for themselves. And now, watching the drivers that are up front, we're seeing Nick Massey trapped currently, second highest of our championship 4. And then you have to fall, looking back at where some of the other drivers are. Chris Wright back in 28th, Alexander Van Sant back in 29th. Their days could be done with how much damage they have. It could be down to just Tate Lytle and that of Nick Massey currently. But I thought that it was Alexander Van Sant's race 30 laps into this run. But hey, we're now seeing the laps tick away. We're running out of time. 88 laps. 88 is the lap that we're on currently.
So we don't know exactly if they've done for the 20 and the 97 car. They desperately need to get caught back up. But what I'm seeing on the screen here behind me is that it is a hornet's nest for competitors that are 20 place on back there. Jared Rexing trying to keep most of the field at bay. The cars that did not have tires, I'm talking the 90 of Scott Crump and the 25 of Jacob Adams. Where are they seated? Right now, Jacob Adams all the way back in the 23rd position there, the 90 in the 20th position. So they are in a world full of hurt. You'll have to take note of those older tires. Even by just 16 laps, it was not enough to keep up in that lead pack.
No, it wasn't enough to hold off even for that of 2 laps. So showing, hey, if there's a 15-lap difference, you need to make sure you have tires. But this is a strategy call from Scott Crump and also Jacob Adams to try to save an extra set of tires just in case later on they want to use that set. They came in with 6. A lot of the drivers here tonight have already used 4 sets. They got to be careful not to use any more than that than necessary. And I believe at the time that they came into pit road, they might have to pit one more time to finish out the night.
That is very true. So each one of these drivers will have to at least use one more set of tires here. And I don't know, with the way that we've been watching the racing that's been going on, if we're done seeing that yellow flag as of yet. Meanwhile, up front, Pro Edge Racing has suddenly come to life in the form of David Tooker and the 11 of Matthew Weeks. They've been able to get around Joshua Adams in that 95 car, and they've brought along another competitor with them. That would be the 35 of Vincent Isabella. Still single file, the front 5 make it 6 or 7 cars trying to break away from the rest of the field there. Nick Massey has been able to get up to the 10th position, still trailing Tate Lytle by 3 as they enter turn 3. Here comes a look of the 35 car underneath Joshua Adams for 3rd, trying to take it away from him.
Joshua Adams doing his best currently to try to stay up front with all the pressuring that's going on, but you're seeing a lot of very aggressive blocking going on. And for Tate Lytle, who's kind of boxed in back around that of 7th place with Jeff Green right on his back bumper, you don't want to be in this boxed in position. If I'm Tate Lytle, I might even want to let Jeff Green go. Be the driver that's just lingering by so you've got space to go up, down, and if you try to let off the gas a little bit earlier, you don't get just ran over. But Tate Lytle staying where he's at currently, up in the top 10, where he needs to be, and back in 10th, that's where Nick Massey, the 2nd highest runner, 10th place, side by side with that of Gerald Campbell for 9th.
Yeah, running along with last year's champion, who's going to be giving away that crown here in just a shy of 50 laps here, but the battle for first place is heating up. Here comes the 95 of Joshua Adams back underneath Matthew Weeks in that 11 car. They're side by side as they go down the backstretch now with the biggest draft assistance, the 19 shoving the 11 car to the inside lane, and he'll be able to take the lead, but they're suddenly 3 wide. David Tooker way up high, the 33 car in the middle, and here's the 95 of 3 wide action. They make contact down the backstretch.
Wow, the heck did Ryan Gavel not pick out the rest of the field? We'll never know. The 33 got a little bit of a wiggle and holds on, but This is where that drafting package, the next-gen cars, it's all about teamwork. If you get 2, 3 teammates in line, you can maximize the draft and stop any type of moving momentum to go forward. And that's where we've been seeing Joshua Adams kind of being stalled out in second after losing that lead position. He's going to need a little bit of assistance if the 95 wants to get back in the lead position.
And look at the battle behind them, though, folks. It's brewing for the championship. Nick Massey has been able to catch the 56 car of Tate Lytle. He's on the back bumper on the inside of the 38 car, but our championship contenders are running side by side for the championship down the backstretch.
Right now, it's going to be that of Nick Massey, going to be on the inside of that of Tate Lytle. They're battling for that of 8th position, but Tate Lytle with the damage on the front nose and on the right and left side. The 56 has to just relinquish that position. Nick Massey's been keeping that car pretty much pristine for most of the night, and because of a cleaner car, that aerodynamic advantage is right there for Nick Massey, but Massey going to be forcing it 3 wide for 6th position.
Yes, he got to the inside of the 38 car of Jeff Green and the 35 car. He's on the bottom of 3-wide situation. Here comes the 56 car once again back on the attack. He'll go to the outside, putting Jeff Green in the middle. He's going to ride that high lane there as they enter turn number 3. Nick Massey on the bottom of the racetrack, still side by side with Jeff Green. Now Tate Lytle still falling back. Nick Massey also going to try and slide in right in front of him. He'll do so on the front stretch. No, he stays to the bottom of the racetrack there. Tate Lytle trying to, once again, take that position back despite the damage he has on that race car.
Nick Massey might have a cleaner car, but the draft was not his friend on the front stretch. We'll see on the back stretch who's going to duck high, who's going to duck low. Currently up front, it's Ryan Gavel who's trying to make some big moves with Tyler Fode on the inside, trying to use a toe. Nick Massey's going to drop low, but we see behind Massey for that of 9th, 10th, 11th position. Drivers are getting aggressive, and Tate Lytle, because of the damage that he's got to worry about that of Gerald Campbell, Colin Bowden, and Andrew Rucker, trying to get below the 56 and move forward. But it is getting a little bit too racy for my liking here, Alex, even though we're coming up to lap 100.
Yeah, that's the thing here. I don't know, Sam. Do you want to be in the middle of this ferocious pack there, or do you want to be like Tate Lytle and perhaps give yourself a little bit of a buffer, because these things are getting racy up front? Tyler Fode and the 35 still side by side. Then you have the 38 and the 33 side by side. Nick Massey into the mix, and I'm telling you, you could not put a piece of paper in between Tyler Fode and the 35 as he run down the front stretch. That's how tight things are between these guys, all the way between 1st and 12th place, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's Pro Edge really up front, that of Weeks and that of David Tooker that are trying to battle out. It's a 1v2 really of Tooker just trying to help Weeks out for those front 3 positions. And then, like you note on, that of Tyler Fode, Vincent Isabella riding on top of one another. But here comes Fode battling for that 3rd place position. And we're expecting a very similar thing. Fode's just going to ride up, try a little bit of rubbing on the driver on the outside. But will we see anyone help Fode? No draft help, and the 40 machine on the straightaway goes backwards.
It seems like once you're trapped on the bottom of the racetrack, you are put in reverse. That's just how many cars are flying past you. There's we have trouble. One car into the wall. It's a 33. He's able to get out of the harm way of the 48 and the 56 car, but our first yellow flag of after lap 100 is out, and the 33 was involved. A hard hit into turn number 2, placing us under caution for the 5th time tonight.
Hard racing. It was through turns 1 and 2 where this incident happened. Ryan Gavel gets a great run on the inside, tries to move up, but Jeff Green just touching the apron, bobbles up, hits the 33, and around goes Ryan Gavel, who tried to do his best to lock down right where he slid up, and everyone else tried to and was successfully able to avoid Ryan Gavel. So not more incidences added on. But Alex, we're on lap 101. That means we got 34 laps to go. It'll be around less than 30 laps to go when we go green once again. It's going to get intense. Nick Massey in 9th, Tate Lytle in 7th. Our front 2 that are battling for a championship, they're doing a great job. But then you got to think back for Alexander Van Sant and also for that of Wright. They're running back in 27th and 28th. If somehow Massey and also Tate Lytle collect each other in a wreck, it could be a driver racing for back outside of the top 30 that could win a championship.
It's crazier things have happened. We'll take you back to last week with the 97 car. Well, with 1 lap to go, he had virtually no shot of making it in to the next round, and by the time the checkered flag fell, he was solidly inside there, beating Crump and the 10 of Jared Rexing to the start-finish line. Will we see something like that play out on a bigger scale that could decide the championship? We'll find out here. Tate Lytle, though, and Nick Messi going to elect to get service here. You also have to wonder if this is the last yellow flag that we're going to see, and if that is the case, then when will these drivers come and put on tires? Because we do know that most of these drivers have, by my calculations, only one more set of tires left. Scott Crump and Jacob Adams, if for whatever reason we get a late yellow flag, they might be in the best position, because even though they free fell through the field, they were able to save a set of tires.
Yeah, well, the issue from this point on, though, is because when they came in, it's going to be 30 laps left in this race. We saw a 15-lap advantage be very successful, but at that point, Alex, do you even want to risk at this moment, if we have a caution with 15 laps to go or less than that? Would any of our championship drivers even want to risk coming into pit road? Unless you're that of Chris Wright or Alexander Van Desant, you'll come in anyway, just to get damage repair, possibly tires. But if you're that of Tate Lytle or Nick Massey, you have to stay out. This is potentially the only time you're going to come into pit road from here until the end of the race.
My, oh my, the plot thickens here with less than 30 laps to go next time by. We're going to take a quick break here. Sorry once again for the technical difficulties we are experiencing here, but it's been an awesome race here, one to call radial style for you guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to finish up the JoinAPS.com Elite Racing Network Series. It all ends in less than 60 miles here at Virtual Homestead. All right, less than 30 laps to go here at Virtual Homestead here. Joshua Clark and Matthew Weeks going to lead the field back to the green flag here. Our championship contenders are behind them, and the field is side by side, stacked up once again. Nick Massey and Tate Lytle. The championship is between those two drivers. Who will come out on top?
And right now, seeing the drivers up front, Joshua Clark is a wrecking behind. Driver getting loose. That's the 24. Stays green as it's dangerous up front. But here comes that of Joshua Adams on the inside, trying to force it 3 wide. Clark, though, going to be on 25-lap older tires than the rest of the field. Risky call from the 28 that's stuck on the outside in third.
Yes, and the car that is second behind him in that lane is the 56 of Tate Lytle. You'll remember that's exactly what happened with the 97 of Chris Wright, or excuse me, of Van Desant. who found himself in trouble as they are now trying to fan out their 3 and 4 wide action mid-pack, and this is all happening right around the 56 and the 48 car. Tate Lytle stuck behind that 28 car. It's going to cost him the lead to the championship. Here comes Nick Massey on the inside. He'll power around the 56 car, taking that spot away out of turn 4.
By Nick Massey, recognizing that he needs to make the move now, and then in front of Massey, they're 3 wide as well, figuring out who's going to be in 4th place. It's going to be that of Bowden on the inside, then Fody and Isabella. Bowden going to be making the pass cleanly. The driver that just got added into the 40 drivers that will race for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series. Might have been involved in the first 2 yellows, but now up front in the top 4.
Yes, and trying to follow him is that 48 car there, as the 40 very tight underneath there, side by side, right in front of the 48 car there, the 35 car on the door panel as they race down the front stretch at over 180 miles an hour. The 35 car up high. Nick Massey, though, trying to put some daylight in between him and the 56 of Tate Lytle, who has not fallen to the wayside. He's right on the back bumper. There's just one position settling the two as we have a caution on this. Oh my goodness, it's the 97 of Alexander Van de Stant. He has destroyed that race car.
Rear end ripped apart. The 97 was racing back for that of 27th position, and in a blink of an eye, trying to run down Jordan Owens. Gets on the back bumper of the 34, was watching Wright get away, and after contact with Owens, spins around. My hand as well gets collected in this thing. A giant wreck for our IndyCar champion, who now is trying to become a 2-time champion in 2 different series, and it looks like it is officially done. Van de Stant was looking for a miracle, and instead gonna be wrecked out.
That is unfortunate here. Looked like perhaps early in this race had the car to beat because of the troubles plagued by on other drivers. But that 97 car, as you'd mentioned there, the rear clip pretty much well knocked off. And that car not going to be able to drive correctly at all. And with less than 25 laps remaining, I don't believe we see that 97 car at all in contention. This makes it between Chris Wright, the 48 of Nick Massey, and the 56 of Tate Lytle. The 97 car is pretty well out.
Yeah, and a couple of cars decided to play a couple of mind games here of if you wanted to come in, take tires. I noted on it, you want to get an advantage of tires, but this is your final set for a lot of the drivers in pit road. So they got to pick and choose when and if they want to come into pit road. Chris Wright going to be coming in. Not surprised by that, hoping to get a little bit more damage repair, possibly tires, as I'll watch on board and see will tires get placed on, and they will. The 20 taking tires here, and it's only going to be about an 8-lap advantage for Chris Wright over the rest of the field. But we've seen small advantages be very helpful in the longer stages of this race, and for that of Nick Massey, Tate Lytle, they don't want to lose this track position of being up front in the top 10. This is a great call for a driver that's kind of going for a long shot here.
Yes, I believe so. He had nothing to lose there and everything to gain should things get physical between our top 2 in the championship. And I do mean top 2 in physical, because right now as they run, Nick Massey, he's running along in the 7th position. Tate Lytle in the 8th position there. How nerve-wracking is that? The guy that you have got to beat for the championship is right next to you on the restart.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you are on it immediately. But for Nick Massey, I think the big thing, he knows that he's got a very fast car. Just needs a little bit of assistance. When you're up front, it's all about finding someone else that's going to be ducking to the inside, try to help each other out, drafting to move forward. But how I think if you look throughout the season, when it gets to this championship race where the draft is so important, Alex, who's your allies, who's your friends, and what enemies did you make that might not want to assist you late? It's going to be a big factor to watch out for, and can't wait for all of it. And as well, we got to give big thanks to all of our amazing sponsors here. We haven't been able to get to them. JoinAPS, our head sponsor for the Cup Series. If you're looking to get yourself complete sources in all types of businesses, they've got you covered in data processing, credit card related transactions. Go to joinaps.com for more information, as well that of C2 Freight Services. They've got you covered if you're trying to get any management of supply services moved. They can help you with that of cargoes, anything from big, small, they've got you covered. And with their EDI services, you're able to see where your transactions are being moved digitally. So big thanks to that of C2 Freight Services. And also our last two, that of Blue Egg Marketing. If you're looking to get yourself in some great marketing advice and helping you as anything from big to small businesses, that of Blue Egg Marketing's got you covered. And for that of energy drinks, Response Energies. They've got you covered with great energy drinks, healthy, amazing. They've got you covered. Go online, look up that of Response Energy for great energy drinks moving forward. Sponsors are done, Alex. It's time for great racing till the end.
Oh man, it's time for some great racing here, but do you have the stomach for it here? Because mine is in knots here, Sam. You're seeing the 48 of Nick Massey. He'll be starting on the inside of Tate Lytle, who'll be starting the fourth row on the outside here, but it's really going to come down to his teammates on how well of a push they get from the drivers behind him. His teammates are in control of this race. Pro Edge Racing doing a great job there. Massey Weeks and David Tooker going to control this restart here. What line do you think will have the advantage as they get into turn one?
Well, it's going to be Matthew Weeks who's going to be really the control car here in the 11 on the outside. It's more so of, will David Tooker just wait, or will we see David Tooker get the launch and Matthew Weeks fall behind? Most likely we're going to see the 11 get the initial start. The 19 is going to fall directly behind, and they're going to be trying to make sure the 95 of Joshua Adams gets zero help as we're about to go green.
Hold on to your seats here, folks, because it is about to get crazy. Matthew Weeks back on the loud pedal. We are back underway here to try and settle it out. Less than 22 laps remain in the season. Matthew Weeks, David Tooker, Colin Bolden. The top three cars, they're side by side for fourth place.
And we're going to be seeing that of Colin Bowden going to be in that of third position, waiting and lingering, but it's that side-by-side that's going on for that of fourth on back. Dangerous moves. Tate Lytle up to fifth, currently leading that of Nick Massey. Massey's line did not get moving when they were side-by-side on that restart. Now Tate Lytle with just a car ahead blocking, and it's that of the 35 Vincent Isabella bump drafting on the front stretch into turn number one.
Yeah, they all but touched that they enter turn number one. Nick Massey back on the bottom of the racetrack there. He lost 2 positions to the good of Tate Lytle, who now he has desperately trying to get caught back up to the 48 car there. It's not desperate mode yet. He's trying to push that 95 car of Joshua Adams, who has led the most laps here tonight. Can he do so and get Tate Lytle in the process? There's a bump between the 95 and the 35 car. It's going to send the 35 car behind Nick Massey, who now only has 1 position deciding him and Tate Lytle for the championship.
It wasn't the way that you wanted to see aggression being pushed, being made, but they're going to be running as hard as they can now. It is all about Nick Massey and Tate Lytle currently, and it's 1 car in between. It's Joshua Adams, the most dominating car in the first half, the 95, now stuck behind traffic and going to be the difference buffer between Tate Lytle and Nick Massey. Look at the third driver that's in our championship ton, that of Chris Wright, back in 24th, fresh tires and trying to get on the move is Chris Wright, but he's got a lot of traffic to get through with a heavy damage 20 machine.
Yeah, that 48 car there, he's trying to push that. Oh, trouble! Right in front of the 95! Will it collect the 48? It does! The 40 car gets into the 48 car of Nick Massey. They're wrecking behind him in turn 2. Multiple cars are going to be involved in our 6th caution of...
We're not yellow yet. No yellow yet. No green.
But Nick Massey with a big hit to the front left quarter panel of that race car there. He keeps going, but he's lost a ton of time to Tate Lytle in that 56 car.
Tate Lytle currently in the lead pack. That's only 4 cars currently. The difference between Tate Lytle and Nick Massey now going to be over 2 seconds is the difference between that of the 56 and the 48. The championship battle, which once was just 1 car length difference, now going to be 2 seconds. Nick Massey needs a lot of help, and he needs this really from 5th on back to work together to catch back up to the lead.
He's down, but definitely not out there. He did make contact with Tyler Fody, who did go around. We did stay under the green flag, which took me by surprise. I thought for sure multiple cars had been involved in that. The question is, how much damage and will that hurt the progress forward of that 48 car? If I'm Tate Lytle in that 56 car, I'm doing all I can just to stay behind that 29 car. My shot at a championship could very well come because of that move and that issue in turn 2.
Track gonna go out of turn number 2. Chad Frankenfield gonna stay on the apron. We stay green. More contact gonna be made further back. And the driver that's on the move, Fresh Tires Championship 4 contender, Chris Wright, went from all the way back in 24th, now up to 16th with all the fiasco that's going on. But again, goal in mind for Chris Wright and for that of Nick Massey, Tate Lytle, who's in 4th currently.
Yeah, right now it's go time for these championship contenders here. That 20 car doing all he can on those fresher tires of the final 3 that are left fending for the championship here. But Tate Lytle there, he doesn't even look like he's content to hang along in the 4th position. He's all over the back bumper of Colin Bowden, that eNASCAR Pro Sport driver there in that 29 car. It's a 4-car breakaway at the front of the field, led by Massey Weeks and David Tooker. Pro Edge Racing coming to life here lately.
It's been ever since the 11 Weeks and David Tooker got really combined with one another. They have been up front dominating, and it is going to be virtually impossible, I think, unless we see some bumping and running going on from Bowden and Tate Lytle. It is going to be all clean up front, and you'll look at the lap times. Matthew Weeks putting down at 32.9. That last lap, we'll see this go around on what his time's going to be. But our leaders currently running about a 10th to 2 tenths faster than that second pack being led by Joshua Adams, meaning a caution needs to be thrown if Adams, Campbell, Isabella, and most importantly, Nick Massey wants to get back into the mix of things.
Nick Massey's actually lost a couple of spots in that 48 car there. I believe the damage really rearing its ugly head on the left side of that race car there. He did a great job of straddling the apron there and not going around that 48 car. He all but made contact with that 40 car there, but unfortunately, he's just lost so much track position, and now he's been engulfed by the rest of the field, who was able to survive that carnage in turn number 2. Nick Massey going backwards here, not the type of night he needed right now after having such a great one so far.
Absolutely not. I mean, it's got to be demoralizing knowing that the driver that you were racing for a championship was just in front of you and at a blink of an eye now going to be a half a track away. Nick Massey getting no draft help currently on the outside, and he's got to watch out because Chris Wright, he's just about 2 seconds away behind Nick Massey on possibly being a challenge. So these drivers, a lot of work needs to be made, but our front 4, they're starting to get a little bit racy as they continue to race on. You know, for that of Wright and for Nick Massey, they want a caution as the laps continue to tick away. We are now about to be 11 laps from this race being over.
11 of Massey Weeks and the 19 of David Tooker there. Doing a great job there, showing the way for their teammate, the 56 of Tate Lytle, who is now less than 10 laps, or about 10 laps as we get to 10 to go there, Mark, away from making history here in 2021 Season B. The 29 of Colin Bowden using that extreme line to try and make up ground there, but he has to try and make it around those fast Toyota Camrys, all from the same stable there, doing a great job so far. Nick Massey and Chris Wright in need of a yellow flag to catch up.
Tate Lytle, you look back to Monday night. Monday night, Xfinity Drivers SMRI Productions Xfinity Series. Tate Lytle at Phoenix had to do perfect, had to be the most dominating car for that night, got himself a championship. You come a couple of days after that for the Cup Series, get caught up in an incident in the first couple of laps with our front runners. Was also collected up was Chris Wright. You thought you could write him out. His race was done, championship hopes gone, but took all race long, the whole entire first half, get repairs done, get this car back out on track, ready to race. And right now, Tate Lytle finding himself to be just 9 laps away from being a JoinAPS.com champion and a veteran who has been here since day 1 of the Elite Racing League Cup Series, being inactive and looking for his first championship.
And I'd already mentioned about the streak he has had in that 56 car there. He became our first multiple win season winner here in this series. And that 56 car has just had good pace all season long. You look back to what he did in the playoffs there, winning the first win of the round of 14 and then coming back, backing that up at Dover there with the first win in the round of 9. Had 2 weeks to try and figure out just how to attack this race, and didn't go the way I'm sure he wanted it at the beginning, like you mentioned there, Sam. But now, as we are creeping up here to less than 7 laps to go, the 56 car. I mean, it cannot be understated what this man is doing as they come across some lap traffic here. The 40 of Tyler Fody, who was inside the top 5 here
Oh, and
before that issue.
Fody was just changing this up because here comes the 29 to the inside. This front pack, it's not over yet with that of Tyler Fody mixing things up. Now trying to give a little bit of draft help. Here comes that of Colin on the inside. This front pack could get a little racy, and there's no surprise. This race is not going to be over just yet. I know a lot of people are hoping this race stays green, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more sparks flying before the night's done.
Yeah, and we've already seen the damage on that 29 car. He's already been involved in multiple issues here tonight. Would not be surprised if there's more contact to come as he's racing side by side. Very hard entering turn 2.
Oh, there's more contact coming out of turn number 2. Bowden as well as that of Tooker continue to just ride on top of one another. And for Tate Lytle, he's loving the fact that they're getting racy, but at the same time, he wants them to stay green, don't wreck each other. But right now, Tooker goes high, and now it's going to be doing a little bit of crossover move, looking for a little bit more help, possibly from the draft. But Matthew Weeks, his race, his victory might not be completely sealed, as we are now 5 laps away from crowning a champion.
And Matthew Weeks is desperately trying to reach victory lane for the first time this season. There's contact between the 19 and the 29. The 29 will go back up high. The 19 runs him all the way near the wall, side by side, entering turn number 3. David Tooker on the bottom of the racetrack. He gets pinned down by the 29. Colin Bonin doing all he can to keep David Tooker back in his rearview mirror. He'll do so there momentarily, but the 11 car is loving this because that side-by-side action is allowing him to get away with the lead, with 3 car lengths lead, the gap between first and second.
And all this raciness gets kicked up because Tyler Fody, a lap car, is making this more mixy. He broke up that Pro Edge and now allowing a little bit more of a raciness. And Fody and Tooker, they continue to beat and bang off one another down from that of the back stretch in through 3 and 4.
My goodness here, just when you think it's over, it's not. Colin Bonin doing all he can in the 56 car, hoping, just wanting, praying that nothing will trigger a yellow flag late in this one. It looks like a side-by-side battle is brewing here for first place. All Colin Bonin needs to try and do is get around that 11 car, but Tate Lytle is happily content to try and keep behind David Tooker as we're getting to 2 to go next time by.
I mean, if I'm Tate Lytle, back off. Don't get this close. They've been bouncing off of one another. You do not need to be giving any type of bump drafting or assistance as we're coming at 2 laps to go. Coming across the line, Matthew Weeks looking to get a win. Tate Lytle looking for a championship, but it is not over just yet. It is still a danger zone with Fody and Tooker still side by side.
Yes, and that could be disastrous if those two get together here. But let's take a look at the battle up front there. Matthew Weeks still trying to keep in front of that 29 car and enter his name for a win for 2021 Season B. This will be the final lap of the season as there is contact between David Tooker and Tyler Fody there. White flag in the win. 1 lap to go for the 11. Can he hang on in front of Colin Bonin in that 29 car?
He's got to get a major run. That's why he's going up to the outside, looking to get a great run so he can do a crossover move and get underneath the 11 on the backstretch. Here comes that Bowden, who just got locked in to race for the Coca-Cola Series coming up to this next season. The 29 going to be ducking in low. Might get a little bit of contact here, but not close enough. Here they come out of turn 4, Alex.
Pro Edge Racing has a lot to celebrate here tonight because the 11 of Matthew Weeks is going to win, and Tate Lytle is going to be a championship contender and win the JoinAPS Cup Series Season 2021B for the Elite Racing Network. He's your champion.
Tate Lytle, congratulations. It was a rocky start to tonight's race. Thought it was over in a blink of an eye, but with mental fortitude, hard repairs being made, the 56 kept his nose out of trouble after that first incident. That of Nick Massey got caught up with misfortunes. Every driver had some type of issue come up, but it was Tate Lytle in the right spot at the right time to get the championship at the end of the night.
And I had mentioned that streak, that amazing streak he's had, 1 win every 3 races there. It continued here and ended with that man in victory lane. What a day for Tate Lytle. He's a treat to have up in the booth. Knows what he's doing behind the wheel, obviously. And how about the 11th car Matthew Weeks there? I mean, this is going to be a big celebration for Pro Edge Racing.
I'm Matthew Weeks. I'm giving a lot of props to that of David Tooker. I mean, both drivers did a great job working with one another to make sure they were up in the top 2, top 3 at all times here in the last 3/4 of the race. And they made sure they were fighting off and defending most drivers as they get to burn it down, your victory winner as well as your champion. What a night it was. And this is going to be a special one for both that of Weeks and also for that of Tate Lytle.
So proud of that team. They've done so much all season long, and you're just high fives all around for Pro Edge Racing there. Very familiar with that group. They have such camaraderie amongst themselves. Just many reasons for them to celebrate, and we're going to be talking to those drivers here in just a little bit. Also want to give a shout out to all of our championship 4 contenders there. Nick Massey, the 48, Chris Wright in that 20 car, and then Alexander Van de Sand. I know the night didn't go how he had planned, but we always knew that coming into tonight's race here, there was going to be one winner and 3 losers there tonight. They drove their heart out there, but that 56 car, what a stellar season he had all season long.
Yeah, now doing a Polish lap currently is Tate Lytle. What a season it was for himself. Came in as the veteran, facing off the 3 rookies here tonight and able to do so. And also, he's going to be a champion in 2 different series. You don't get to see that very often. A lot of drivers try. Very few get to be successful at it. And I know for Tate Lytle, this is going to be a special weekend, knowing that the 2 races that he was racing for a championship in conquers and gets the victories for them both.
I mentioned their Pro Edge Racing having a lot to celebrate. Looks like we might have our very first driver from that team. He finished 3rd there tonight. Let's get David Tooker perhaps in. I see him in the waiting room. And yeah, there he is. David Tooker. Pro Edge Racing has a lot to celebrate tonight there, but let's talk about your night getting into 3rd for to end the season. Walk us through those final closing laps there, especially battling lap traffic.
Yeah, lap traffic being an understatement there at the end, but we started the race off pretty well. Unfortunately, didn't get a good qualifying lap. Actually, didn't even get a qualifying lap in. Started at the rear of the field, I think just outside 30th, 31st, or 32nd, something like that. But I think the strategy from the very beginning was to just, we knew we had good speed going in, and we just had to get ourselves through the back of the pack and find ourselves hopefully in the top 15, top 10. And luckily we made a few good runs, got ourselves into the mid-teens on the first run, and fell out of it a little bit, and then got our momentum back, got inside the top 5, and felt like we stayed there all night long, and that's where we were as far as pace, and especially on the last run, being second right behind Zeus, or our Matthew Weeks, our teammate. I knew we definitely had a shot to win there, and I saw Colin and Tate working together in the back, so I knew they were going to catch us. It was just only a matter of time, and we were going to race it out. But got to Zeus, and then Colin got to me. He got next to me, which is fine. That's just hard racing. But got stuck on the 40 a little bit. I'm not really sure why he felt the need to race me there. He wasn't really racing for anything, and we're racing regardless of it being the last race for the season. We're still racing for wins. So. But regardless, we got a lot to be thankful for this weekend with Zeus getting the win and Tate getting the championship. 3 of our cars finishing inside the top 5, so couldn't ask for a better weekend.
Yeah, I mean, David, what an amazing run. Sam up in the booth. For you guys, when you finally got, together with Matthew and you guys were able to, fend off all the drivers around, how was it difficult, or was it pretty easy to try to fend drivers off when you guys were in line?
I think just this car, it just makes it that much harder to pass. With this car being so aero dependent, and how you work the draft, it makes a significant difference. There was multiple instances where I got right up behind the 11 car, or whoever it was right in front of me, and just within a straightaway we'd be a car and a half clear by going into turn 3 or turn 1. So I think just who you got in line with and where the momentum was, you really had to spot where the momentum was on track, and if you could find yourself getting up there, you could definitely climb up the ladder pretty easily. But no, tonight it's just this car with how this car drives and how it acts on mile and a half. It's all about the air. Wherever you put your car, where you position yourself to defend that run. We saw that a lot with Adams tonight, and myself included, just trying to work the air. But that's just product of this car and this racing it's bringing. So it's fun, but it can also be very, very skeptical.
Well, David, I know that you missed some races there this season, but you still had a very strong season there, and you have a lot to celebrate with your team. I know this win is going to be very special for both Matthew Weeks and Tate Lytle there, but what's it like? What's the camaraderie like inside Pro Edge Racing? I mean, you guys are no doubt one of the top teams in all of the Join APS Cup Series.
Yeah, I absolutely, I agree with you 100%. Pro Edge Racing is proven time and time again that we're, if not the best, or not one of the best team out there on the track, and I feel like we're definitely the most consistent team out here. So, we took that with a grain of salt, but regardless, we still try to be as humble as we can and race everybody with as much as respect as we do. And first and foremost comes our reputation. That's our most important. We want to be known as the guys that race clean but hard and can compete for wins, which I feel like we do very well. And like you said, the emotions in the Pro Edge garage right now are going crazy. I'm not in the Discord at the moment, but I know for a fact everyone's going crazy with Zeus getting the win. I know he's been wanting one for quite a while. So, and also Tate bringing home the championship with actually two-time champion Xfinity and Cup side. So congrats to him. But like you said, just everybody in this Pro Edge garage works so hard to bring the speed that we have and the chances we give ourselves out on the racetrack to compete for wins. It's a blessing to work with this race team, and couldn't ask for a better team to work with.
All right, so that was David Tooker, finisher, podium finisher in third place there tonight. Want to give you a chance to shout out to anyone you'd like there before we talk to your teammates.
Yes. JD Designs. He's the one that makes all our paint schemes for the Pro Edge guys. So want to give him a huge shout out for the work he does behind the scenes for us and giving us beautiful racing machines to go out there and crash every once in a while. But I couldn't ask for a better guy to make our paint schemes. And like I said earlier, just want to give a huge shout out to everybody watching at home, all our fans. You guys make a lot happen for us and give us the opportunities to showcase our skills the way that we do. And also want to thank you guys up in the booth for what you do, because as much as you guys must love watching the racing, I bet you guys would much rather be on the racetrack than up here. But just want to thank you guys for all the hard work you guys put in behind the scenes for us, and like I said, this whole Pro Edge Racing team.
I'd say I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's a lot less physical in the booth there than it is out on the racetrack there.
I'd rather be in the booth than a back marker, that's for sure.
Thank you so much, David there. Congratulations. We will look forward to seeing you next year.
All righty. Thank you, guys.
All right. That was David Tooker, driver of the 19. Let's bring in, how about our race winner there? I know you guys want to listen to Tate there just momentarily, and we'll have him because he's going to have the most to say. I'm going to tell you that right now. But this is an interview of which I am very thankful to conduct and ask, because I know this man very much so was looking forward to this shot, and you were able to get 2021B with a win. Matthew Weeks, talk us through your race here tonight that ended with you in victory lane.
Stressful because I wanted to win so bad because it's been a horrible season. Not a horrible season, but I've had a couple of chances I think I should have win, and I just wanted to come in tonight and race as hard as I can and win. That's all I wanted to do, and I'm glad I done it.
Yeah, Tate, Matthew, this is Sam up in the booth. Gotta say, what a run here tonight. You got up front, you were battling for most of the night, but the early going, you were very aggressive. How confident were you in those very aggressive moves early on that your car was going to stick there early?
I felt good. I've noticed it was kind of similar like Charlotte last week, to where I could really stick the bottom and roll and pass people. So I was just going for it, man. I'm just glad it worked out.
I'm glad it worked out. Were you surprised at how aggressive the racing was? And on that note, obviously this being the championship finale race there, were you aware at all times of where your Pro Edge Racing teammate was, and did at any point were you trying to help him at all during that race?
Yeah, about the aggressiveness, it's been really aggressive, especially starting that second round. Like, it was so aggressive. I didn't make the championship race. That's how aggressive it was because I got wrecked towards the end of the races and then helping Tate, I was just trying to keep up at where he was at. I know he got damaged from Chad with the net code early, so I was just trying to make sure where he was at all times. And even when it comes down to restarts late in the race, what line that we were picking, so he had a good start. So we was trying as much as we could, but not trying to race the other guys that's super hard, so they had a shot too.
Well, Matthew, I know this is something that you desperately wanted there, and because you felt like you deserved it in this team. Obviously, on the rise there, what's it like just being part of Pro Edge there? And then, of course, who would you like to thank as we end the season?
I love Pro Edge. Alex, you know me. We've
Right.
known each other for almost 10 years, man. And these guys, I just love racing with them. I love hanging out with them because we do hang out other than racing. I just love being a part of those guys and racing with them weekly. It's just a blast, dude. We have a good time every week. And then I want to thank Jordan for sponsoring this is last season with SMRI on my car, dude. I appreciate him for the last 2 seasons of being my sponsor. He's going to carry over and be my sponsor in Erska, so it's going to be weird having a different sponsor in Cup next year. And then the Pro Edge guys, dude. Tate, how about Tate coming in and winning the Xfinity and Cup championship, man? That's just awesome. So just all those guys at Pro Edge, my old lady, you guys up here, man. It wouldn't be y'all do a hell of a job on Wednesdays, man. So I appreciate you guys.
Well, that is very much appreciated there and very much back at you there. Congratulations there, Matthew. You have a lot to celebrate there, ending the season on a high note in victory lane. Can't wait to see what Pro Edge has in the books and in store for them for 2022. Congratulations,
Yeah,
Matthew.
especially with that good package. Let's get it next season.
Matthew Meeks, very, very excited and rightfully so. They're getting it done in victory lane. Now, certainly last but definitely not least here, I want to be the first to show you guys at home our championship winner, Tate Lytle, is in the building there. And Tate, congratulations. You are the JoinAPS.com 2021 Season B champion. How does that feel hearing?
Oh, it feels good. I mean, it was a pretty good week for us. Went out and won the race on Monday and was able to do what we needed to do tonight. And yeah, put the old 56 machine in championship victory lane. Probably about as excited as I've ever been to finish a fourth place in a race. But yeah, super interesting race. I didn't really feel like I had it and had a chance really until probably the last 40 laps when me and Nick were kind of going back and forth door to door. And these cars, I mean, like I said it last week, they're just so unpredictable. And I got lucky when I had that contact with Chad at the beginning of the race to only get a little less than a minute of damage. It didn't quite fix it all, but it fixed it to where I was able to be competitive enough to at least give him a run. And I think Van de Sant and Wright both had their own issues. And yeah, just able to squeak out on top. It feels pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Tate, this is Sam up in the booth. What a race for yourself. Like you said, coming over adversity with the damage that you had. But when you came through and you were right side by side with Nick Massey on that last restart, and then you saw yourself get, Massey got pushed back because the incident happened. You were able to stay in the top four. What was going through your mind at that moment, realizing if a caution comes out, that's the only chance that Nick has to catch you?
I mean, obviously, I felt horrible that Nick got involved in that. The net code on iRacing has been pretty bad lately, and I was doing everything I could to stay off of Fody, but it still turned him around. And I don't know how it looked on the replay, but it felt like it was a little sudden. So, not real happy that Nick was involved in that. But I mean, it's just part of this car, part of the game that we're playing. So, I mean, the same things happened to me plenty of times this year. So I'm just glad the cards fell right for me. I've been playing iRacing for 10 years off and on, and I hadn't won a championship in any league until Monday, and we were able to put two 2 championships together in 3 days, and yeah, it feels good. Nice little early Christmas present for me, and been quite the season in both series.
I mean, you've had a memorable season there. You've won 3 of the last 9 races that we've done. You're now going to be forever referred to as champion. I mean, walk us through what that's going to be like for you moving forward there, and how do you expect to uphold that name and that standing for you going into 2022?
I mean, nothing will change. I'll still go out and do what I can do every race, and I mean, I don't know if I don't think anyone's perception of me will change any. I mean, I think everyone kind of knew what we were capable of, just hadn't quite done it yet. So feels good to put 2 races together this week and at least, prove to them that I could do it. So maybe it'd be a little bit more, maybe a few more of them will respect what we do on track. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just nice to look forward to on a Wednesday coming home and racing, especially during the off season for the real life guys. So it's a fun way to kick back, hang out with your friends, run a race that around people that, I mean, most of them we've been racing for 4 or 5 years off and on with one another, so we've gotten to know each other pretty well, and it's a fun thing to look forward to, and it's just kind of a cherry on top to be able to come out as the champion and get a little extra Christmas bonus here coming up on the holidays, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Glad we were able to come out on top. Before you guys boot me out of here, just got to give a shout out to Days Gone By, Brent Wentz. He's got a lot of vintage racing apparel. Look him up on Twitter, Days Gone By. He's got an Etsy shop in his bio on Twitter. I don't know if any of you guys have checked it out or if anyone's still listening. I know if you're still listening to me right now, I say this quite often. You like racing quite a bit because you're watching a virtual race right now. Go check out Days Gone By. He's got a lot of cool stuff on there. I've spent way too much money on there, and I think you guys can find a couple things that you'd like on there as well. Got to thank Chad for putting the whole thing together. My boys at Pro Edge Racing for sticking with me, and I don't know if he's still listening. He's been texting me off and on, but shout out to Dad for watching me do this virtual race. I'm sure there's plenty of better things he could be doing with his evening, but he chose to watch his 24-year-old son play a video game. So shout out to you, Dad. And yeah, shout out to you guys for putting up with this as well. So good
Hey,
times.
Dad has a lot to be proud of there, and so do you there. He's doing a great job. You've done a great job all season long, and I can't wait to see what's on the horizon there for you there, Tate. I know you've been looking forward to this, and it's so cool to have champion there next to your name.
Yeah, doesn't hurt anything, that's for sure. Probably go have a couple Colorado Kool-Aids to celebrate, and yeah, it's Christmas break for me too, so it's not. I got 13 days to celebrate this.
13 days. Hopefully, that's not an unlucky number there. We need you back for 2022 to defend that. So don't go too crazy.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Appreciate
All right,
it, guys.
that was Tate Lytle there, folks. Your 2021 Season B champion there, speaking with us there. Before we let everybody go, I see we have Chad Frickenfield, the owner of our lead, who is going to be talking to us there, and he's actually in there, Chad. Not the race you wanted there, but the season has definitely been one to remember there. What were some of the highlights for you here, not just of this race, but the season overall, and what can we expect for 2022?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was I mean, we've always had it with the Gen 6, but I think you really saw the versatility our drivers have with who wins what races. I think you're seeing a wide range of guys. The chase, I think this season was probably the most pressured on the driver end because everybody was just so close. Nobody racked up chase points because of so many guys having success. So it was definitely an interesting season, and I think if you were to ask all the drivers, if the right guy won, I think mostly everybody would agree that Tate was definitely the most deserving of all the drivers that were in the championship four. So I think that was neat to see. Um, I think we learned a lot this year about the next gen. I think um, I think our guys did the best they could with it in its current state. And I think with the recent news with NASCAR going to 670 and in a 4-inch spoiler, I think that the thing about iRacing that's interesting is it's so realistic that a real life package change affects us as well. So as soon as that was announced, a lot of our guys were all of a sudden like, "Oh, okay, well maybe it's not going to be so bad car wise next season with the way the car handles and things like that." Um, so I think we're looking forward to that. I think our guys would love to kind of have the ability to really wheel it on the mile and a half and more. So I think we're all looking really forward to that again. But yeah, I mean, it was a good season, awesome racing. I think we averaged over 15 lead changes a race, um, and we were about 83% green, which is really decent for a league that averages over 35 cars a race. So
Definitely not too shabby at all there, Chad. Especially um, for where we started from here until now, including we've had some highlights, some of my personal favorite highlights. I mean, not only the racing here that we've seen, just the versatility of the field. How you mentioned there, no one really stacked up chase points because we had so many different winners there. So many times that we saw so many different drivers excel, and not just drivers that we know stars in our sport, but stars in the real world. We had Kyle Busch and Dale Earnhardt Jr. also come in here. That was great to see. Um, just so many things to revel in the highs here for 2021. I'm sad to see it come to a close, but with the new package coming for 2022 and a new season on the horizon there, what do you think 2022 looks like here for you?
yeah, I mean, I think next year's going to be, I think, really interesting across the board. Our Cup Series, we have a almost similar to real life system, um, as far as trucks through Xfinity through Cup, and really our Xfinity and Cup Series are kind of just 1A and 1B, but three of the four championship four drivers are making the jump to, or two of the four making the jump to Cup next season from the trucks. I think we're gonna have a nice fresh crop of drivers that are gonna make the move. Obviously, having Junior run with us when he can, and then obviously Kyle Busch is signed up to run part time in everything we have. So it's gonna be fun on that front. But I expect next season to be really awesome. I mean, I think we're gonna um, really put on a good show across the board. The schedules look like they're going to be really exciting, and yeah, I mean, and for us, this is going to be our longest off season. We don't have a NASCAR related event till January 26th, but most of our guys are going to be right back at it this Sunday because we have winter testing for our Formula One series that starts up on January 16th. So it's going to be interesting, um, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Chad. Well, as owner of the league, I definitely would be remiss if I did ask you if there's anybody you would like to thank there before we wrap things up.
Yeah, I just want to thank JoinAPS.com, SRMRI Productions, Old Testament Firearms, at Mega Driver 86. I want to thank C2 Freight, Blue Egg Marketing, Response Energy. I want to thank all the guys at Elite Racing Network. It's been an interesting last month or so because we've had guys coming and going based on schedules, and a lot of guys have been put on the spot that maybe need just have are new to broadcasting. Um, so it's been great. So I just want to thank you guys.
Well, it's definitely been a treat up in the booth there, and I also want to thank Sam joining me here for tonight. Uh, that was awesome there, especially with our technical difficulties there. You running along as kind of a producer as well there behind the scenes. That was not unnoticed. And then David Huckleberry, who was also able to try and remedy some of those situations that we had in order to give you guys the finale at home. But before we wrap things up, though, Sam, I mean, I think Chad said it as well. I think the best person of the season won here tonight.
Oh yeah, I mean, Tate Lytle noted on it, had to come over adversity here tonight and did so in a flying way. You gotta be feeling having a little bit gut wrenched for that of Chris Wright as well as Alexander Villanueva. I think both of those drivers had very strong cars. It was gonna be a great finish to the end, but caught up with early issues, and Nick Massey caught up with 40 laps to go. Saw his hopes and dreams of a championship here tonight snuffed out with contact being made, drivers spinning, and that of our front two and our back half being split up. And it was great racing overall. But like they said, I think the best driver got it done. Tate Lytle, congratulations, a champion Monday night in the Xfinity cars, and now can officially say he is the 2021 B JoinAPS.com Cup Series champion. And what a night, what a feeling it's going to be, especially with it being one of the longest off seasons for these drivers. You could say he's champion for a very long time.
Yes, but not a very, very long time because we're going to be back at it again right here with the Elite Racing Network for 2022 beginning January 26th. So he'll have enough time until then to enjoy champion, but there's a couple of guys, about 30 of them, that'll be gunning for that saying next month later on. Want to thank everybody as far as our sponsors, those that work behind the scenes, Join APS, C2 Freight, Rowdy Response there, as well as my good friend Versov, who usually brings us our coverage as well. He was not unable to be here today, but want to give him a shout out as well. Want to thank you, Sam, for joining us there, David Huckleberry as well for producing, and Chad for putting on such an awesome event. This season has been great to call, one that I will truly remember, and I can't wait to do it all again for you guys in 1 month's time. But I hope and I wish you guys a very safe holiday there, Merry Christmas there, and a very, very Happy New Year. I want to give another congratulations to Tate Lytle, winner of the 2021 Season B. He did a great job all season long. Who will be in victory lane next time? We are just 1 month away from finding out, so make sure you join us for our Daytona 500. That coverage will begin January 26th. But from all of us here for the Elite Racing Network, we hope you enjoyed a great season on tap. Congratulations to Tate Lytle, winner of the Join APS 2021 Season B season. We will see you guys next time.